What's up, guys? Subsonic GT here today, and I have a different kind of video for you today, right? It's a overall review, right? An overall review of Black Ops 3, right? Beta, right? And I want to talk to you about a few different things today, right? First of all, I'm going to talk to you about the feel of the game compared to older CODs, right? You know what I mean? Because over the next couple of months, you're going to be debating whether to buy this game, right? And this video will hopefully help you decide, right? So I'm going to talk about the feel of it compared to older CODs. You know when you go back and you play COD 4 and you're just like, this, I remember playing this is childhood, you know that kind of feel. And then you play Ghosts and you're just kind of like, you feel like throwing your whole PlayStation out the window and you're just like, this is wrong. Well, that's the thing about this game. It feels more like Black Ops 1, you know what I mean? Black Ops 1, that was a great game. I really enjoyed that game. It feels like Black Ops 2, they're both decent games, you know what I mean? They have that, it still has that feeling. It's not like the transition from Modern Warfare 3 to Ghosts, you know what I mean? I know they're two totally different series, but it didn't even really feel like Ghosts, didn't even feel like Call of Duty. It was just felt wrong, to be honest, in my opinion, right? So yeah, so that's what I think. I think Black Ops 3 is kind of, Treyarch are really trying their best now to make something out of Call of Duty, because it was going downhill the last 2 years. So, well, in my opinion anyway. So yeah, let's move on anyway, right? I want to talk about the running and wall jumping, right? The high jumping and the wall running. Some people absolutely hate it, right? Like in Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Advanced Warfare was terrible for that, you know. Everybody thought Advanced Warfare came out and it was just like, oh, this is a great game. This is just amazing. This jumping and all that, 10 stories in the air and all that. It's class. I didn't like it. At first I did. I think everybody did at first. And then it just kind of was like, I don't know about this, you know what I mean? And that's what I was expecting. I was thinking Black Ops now. When Black Ops was first announced, I was just like, oh no, here we go. This is gonna be a big flop. Then I got to play it, and it's not as bad as you think. You jump relatively high, like, you know, about, say, 3 times higher than you usually would jump if you jump normally, 3 or 4 times. But it's not so bad. Like, I can live with it. Let's put it that way. And then then you've got the wall run. The wall run, I think that's just a welcome change to the game. I think it's great. I love the wall run. It's great. It's really good. It works well with the game, especially the maps are really well designed. So it works. It really works well with us. So I'm happy with that. So let's move on then to the maps themselves. Now, I only got to play like 4 maps, right? Combine, Hunted. I think it's Hunter or Hunted. I think it's Hunted. Stronghold and Evac, right? They're all decent maps, you know what I mean? Usually there's one that stands out and you go, oh my god, that's just terrible. Or there's one that stands out and you go, that's amazing. But they're all relatively around the same, in my opinion, like how good they are, you know what I mean? And I've played them all so many times because there's only 4 maps in the whole game, so you just always play, most of the time you play the same map like 4 times in a row. It's ridiculous. But yeah, they're all decent maps. I like them all. So there's not much more to say about that, so let's move on, right? We'll move on to game modes, right? Because they always add a game mode in, the new game mode somewhere, right? But you've always got the standard game modes as well. Now, I don't know whether changes will be made to the game now in the future. Obviously, like the 4 maps I was talking about, there's obviously more maps, but the game modes, I don't know whether they're gonna put in more game modes or like sticks and stones and all that kind of stuff, one the chamber and all that kind of thing. There's Treyarch, but the game modes that are in at the moment that are used were TDM, Domination, Demolition, Kill Confirmed, Hardpoint, Capture the Flag, Search and Destroy, Uplink, and then there was this new one, right? Safeguard. It's actually a really good game mode. It's different, you know what I mean? There's a robot, right? And one team is defending and the other team is attacking. Now the team attacking has to escort this robot into the enemy's side, right? Once you get into this circle, right, you win basically, and then it switches sides. But the thing is, the enemies, the defenders can disable the robot by shooting it. Like, you're shooting at with rockets, and you're shooting it with your guns just themselves and all that, throwing grenades at it and all that, and it just disables itself for like I'd say it's like 30 seconds or something like that, or a minute or something like that, in around that I think, and then it gets back up, and then you have to escort again, but you have to be close to it. You know what I mean? Each time you get near, but it's really hard, it's really fast paced, and you're gonna, if you like your KD, don't play this because you're gonna suffer so much. I've got like you don't even bother with the kills. You just want this robot getting there. You don't care how much you die. You just need to get this robot to the objective. I had like most of the people in the lobby that I was playing once was like there was like you'd have like 10 kills and 30 deaths. It was that, like, that's how what it's like. You know what I mean? So that's that mode. That's game modes. They're decent. You know what I mean? Obviously you got the standard, like I explained, the TDM and all that, but that one's a decent one. You know what I mean? Now the score streaks, right? Score streaks. There's the HCXD. It's like the RCXD, but it doesn't have wheels. It hovers along the ground. You press X, it jumps. It jumps a certain height as well. It's pretty good like that. And R3 boost forward as well. And it's it's pretty much the same as an RCXD. It's did you enjoy it in Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2? There you go. But then you've got the standard ones. You got UAV, care package, counter UAV, Dart, Guardian. Well, Dart. Dart. It was like I always call it the only way I could ever explain it was like the paper airplane. You threw it, and it followed an enemy and hit it. But the thing about this one is, you throw it, you control it. You know what I mean? It's like the Valkyrie missile, but you don't launch it or anything. You just throw it. Then you've got, like I think I said the Guardian. So I was in Black Ops 2, Hellstorm, Lightning Strike, Rolling Thunder, and then there's a few now that I didn't even get to use. So I'm just going to tell you the name: the Talon, Cerberus, Wrath, HAT, I think it was HATR, and then, or it was HAT, and then there's RAPS. Now I'm not 100% sure what they are, but there's Power Core GI unit. Oh, I'm not sure. Actually, RAPS. I think I know what RAPS is actually. I'm just thinking about. It's them balls that just fly around the map and kill you and drive over you basically. And then you've got the mothership. I think that's like a gunner ship. So they're usually decent enough, but I think that's the top kill, the score streak. But there was one blanked out that you couldn't even see. So I don't know whether you had to be at the highest max level for it to unlock to see what even was called, or that's just a teaser kind of thing that there is one there coming out. I'm not 100% sure. We're gonna have to see when the game is released finally. Then we go on to the guns, right? Now I'm going to explain to you the guns that I used in the beta. So the guns I used was the ARK-7, right? The ARK-7, the ARK-7. That is practically an AK-47 type gun, right? It's an AK-47. It looked fairly similar. It worked similar. You know what I mean? The way it's recoil off. I used the old hand grip on it and all that. It's grand. Then there was the Cuda. These are all really good guns. These are the guns I only used, right? And then there's the Cuda, basically based off an MP5. You know what I mean? There was a lot of recoil on that as well. And most of the guns in the game needed a hand grip. And the thing about the guns is, one thing I have to say about the guns is, and even just weapons in general, the sound quality of, like, you know what I mean, the bullets and all that hitting stuff and just shooting rifles and all that, it was just so much better than any of the other Call of Duties I've played, which is pretty much all of them. But yeah, anyway, moving on. Then there was the HVK-30. That's -30. That's a machine gun, fully automatic machine gun. High rate of fire, really decent gun. Bit of recoil on it as well. Not too bad. Really, I used that a lot. Then there's the Man of War. You're actually probably the one I'm using right now. If you're watching the video, is the HVK-30, and then the Man of War. Yeah, that was a really low recoil gun. That was a good gun. I enjoyed using it. But it was a high recoil. Sorry, what did I say? A high recoil gun, but really low rate of fire. That's what I meant. Decent, but like it only takes a couple like 2-3 bullets and you have them dead. And it's just I don't know whether it was that was the case or it just felt like it was more powerful than the other guns. But if it had a higher rate of fire, in my opinion, it would have just owned out of everything. But the only thing that really let it down was the rate of fire did. But the main thing that was, it was the recoil. There's a lot of recoil in it. You know what I mean? Anything that was a little bit distance was a pain to get. Then you've got the other gun. I'm actually surprised. Probably the first Call of Duty I actually used a launcher in, like properly. It was probably last time I used one was probably Modern Warfare 2. But that one was the XM53 launcher. Decent launcher. You know what I mean? But the thing is, it was decent if you get a direct hit, or even in what was that one I was talking about, the Safeguard. That one with the robot. It was really good for deactivating the robot. But I noticed as well, you could be in a small room and you could shoot like 4 or 5 feet away from someone and you don't kill them. It's ridiculous. Actually, I don't know whether there's some footage in this video, further on, or it was behind. I'm not 100% sure if you even put it in, of that happening. But anyway, we'll move on and talk about what was I going to talk about? Oh yeah, I was going to talk about the specialists. Yeah, the specialists. You got Ruin, right? Which is your man that you see in the trailer. He's in the trailer, right? For BlackOps3. He has a gravity spike, right? And overdrive, right? The gravity spike, it's what it is that he plunges these 2 spikes into the ground and it kills anybody that's near him, pretty much, right? And the overdrive is it's like cyber. I think it's cybernetic legs or something like that, which makes him, for short amounts of time, he can run faster. And that's pretty much what he can do. You know what I mean? I'm just giving brief descriptions on these now. When you use them, it's pretty cool when you're using them. But then the one that I use the most, you see, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think there's a good bit of footage of me using Outrider in this. Actually, used her through the whole thing. The Sparrow, she has the Sparrow or Vision Pulse. Now the Sparrow is a bow, right, that fires explosive bolts that explode in enemies on impact, and when it hits them, it just pulverizes them. There's nothing left of them, just loads of bits of body everywhere. It's pretty cool. Yeah. And then there's the Vision Pulse. That's pretty much like radar. It's like, I can't remember what it was called, in Advanced or something like that. Didn't really play that game too much now, but basically you can just see the enemies. It's like, oh man, I can't remember the name of it, but you just see the enemies that are near. And then there's the Prophet, right? The Prophet has a Tempest and Glitch, right? Tempest shoots an arc of electricity. It's a gun that shoots an arc of electricity, and it's pretty decent. I used it myself, and it's pretty good. It just electrocutes the enemy and it's just instant death, and that's about it. You know what I mean? And then and then there's the Glitch, allows them to move back to a previous position. It's nearly like time travel. He goes back to a certain, like the last place he was. Like if he's getting if you're getting shot, right, you can just go back, and then you can just basically nearly start off again. Now I didn't use him, so I could be going wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that's what I got from it anyway, from seeing people using it. There's a lot of things I didn't get to use in this game. Then there was Battery, right? Battery has a war machine and kinetic armor, right? The war machine is a grenade launcher. It's basically, right, did you ever use the war machine? Ask yourself, did you ever use the war machine in Black Ops 1? That's what it's practically like, right? When you shoot at someone, the grenades bouncing grenades, and they explode after a short time after impact. After they hit someone, after a short time they explode. And then the kinetic armor, that deflects enemy bullets, right, from your body. So you are still vulnerable to headshots, right? So it deflects them from, like, you know what I mean, from like wearing a bulletproof vest. It deflects from there, but if you get shot in your head, game over. You know what I mean? And then, but the bullets can deflect and hit back. You know what I mean? And then you have Seraph. Now this is the last one, because there's a few more, but you have to unlock them and all that, and I didn't get that far in the game. So Seraph has Annihilator and Combat combat focus, right? Annihilator is a revolver, right? It's the revolver was in the trailer. It's actually a pretty decent one-shot kill, pretty decent. And then combat focus is when all the scores are earned, but triggers a bonus multiplier towards your score streaks. Now all these things that I've explained are either pick one or the other. So if you want Annihilator, you can use Annihilator or you can use combat focus. It's one or the other. You can't use both. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much it. So going back to it now. Specialists, in my opinion, if you're going to ask me what I think the specialists are actually decent enough out of them all when you're using them. At first I was thinking, oh, this is another thing that's just going to annoy me, it's going to get in the way. But overall, it's not actually that bad. So, I like them. I like them, especially the fact that you get it's like the exosuits. It's like a totally redesigned, way better version of exosuits. You know what I mean? So, yeah, so that's about it. Guys. I'm gonna leave it there for now, and I'll talk to you in the next video. So please like, subscribe, and comment below what you think of this video, and basically just tell me what you think I did good, what you'd like to see me do, and I'll do it. So like, comment, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next video.